The annual Creative Fiesta, that's now in its 6th year, has been seeing artists and galleries from around the country gather in Johannesburg for a week showcasing and selling their artworks. And for more on how the event has been received thus far, we joined in studio by its founder, Glynis Hyslop. A very good morning to you, Glynis, and welcome.
Thank you.
Now, 6 years on, and it's grown in leaps and bounds, and it's often been described as the noise of human hearts beating. Now,
I love that.
Tell me, how have you been able to grow the Turbine Art Fair to what it is today?
Well, I think a lot of people don't know enough about art, and we felt that it was, I don't know enough about art, we thought that it would be great to introduce young artists at the beginning of their careers, so they're inaccessible and the works are well priced, but at the same time to have parts of the fair that would give people an opportunity to learn more. So it's a very accessible fair, it's a very comfortable fair, lots of nice great food and wine and music, lovely jazz today, but an opportunity just to walk around and enjoy art, not necessarily buy. But you can buy something from 1,000 rand up, and you can also see something that's worth 10 million.
Okay. And this year's event will feature about 380 artists and about 48 exhibitors. And I would imagine there'll be different classes and categories of the exhibition. So how have you chosen these artists? What the selection criteria?
So the galleries apply to be part of it, and we have a committee that looks at the art, and obviously one of the things that we want to do is to be able to grow young artists. So we want to be able to grow artists that we think are good enough to become very well known in the future.
Okay, and perhaps one of the most important or perhaps a significant feature in this year's event is the graduate exhibition that's returning in its 4th year. Tell me more about it. What does it entail? What does it offer?
I love the graduate exhibition. A curator, which is a selector and someone who's in charge of it, goes round to each of the universities before the fair and selects what that curator believes is the best work from that year. So it could be someone who's about to graduate, it might be someone who has just graduated. What's interesting about this year is that the curator, Musa Kamalo, who is a well-known photographer in his own right, a young man though, has introduced some photography into that. In prior years it was just painting, now it's drawing, painting, photography.
Okay, and which are some of these universities that you've selected the artists from?
SABC's neighbour, the University of Johannesburg, Wits, UNISA, Rhodes, throughout South Africa.
So how has this event been received by the artists themselves and the attendees?
Well, I personally love the fair, and it's so gratifying when the galleries say it's one of their favourite fairs, or is their favourite fair of the year. I think the artists love it because it's a platform for them to launch their careers, and that's what we're all about, trying to launch the careers of young artists, to boost young galleries and to grow the market for art in South Africa.
Now, this fair is in its 6th year this year, so what's your advice to the first-time attendees? What should they look forward to?
They should come, to start with. We're in Newtown, so once they're doing the festival, if they have children, they can bring their children, because in Bali, who we've just heard, are doing a whole children's program, so they can leave them there while they, and the children can learn more about doing art while they go and look. They just look. I mean, you should develop your taste, and the best way to do that is to come and see what's available and to see what you really love and enjoy.
Yeah. Enjoyment
but
is
there are
key,
lots of talks as well.
Let's talk about the program. What will be happening between today and tomorrow?
So this morning and this afternoon we have RMB Private Bank's talks on art, and they're really very accessible talks about how to look for artists that have promise, how to perhaps use art in your home. We've got people like El Decor, we've got very famous decorators, Donald Kamalo talking. So there's a chance to just learn a bit more and walk around and see the installations and
yeah. Are there any plans perhaps of decentralizing the art fair, so to speak, like taking it to distant communities or the disadvantaged communities who cannot have access to such fairs, yet there's raw talent out there?
Well, that's a very good question. I suppose what we've done at present is we've re-centralised. One of the other projects is a project called it's now called Talent Unlocked. And what that does is go out to anyone who believes they have talent and ask them to apply. And then those artists can go through a 6-month mentorship program before being exhibited at the fair.
Okay. I'm quite interested in that. How do they apply?
They apply through something called VANSA, which is the Visual Arts Network of South Africa. And it's very accessible. As long as you've got internet access, you can go online. You can be in the middle of nowhere. But it's very gratifying to see how those artists progress until they show. And then it launches their careers. I mean, there are several artists who were showing on that are now with galleries.
So any plans of internationalizing this fair or taking it outside the borders?
Actually, I think it's a fair that I think the concept could work anywhere. Yeah. But, you know, South Africa has got fantastic talent, and African art is where the world is looking at right now. So we couldn't be in a better place.
Is it also open to non-South African artists?
Yes, it certainly is. In fact, one of the there's a chap called Tonton who seems to be selling up a storm, and he actually came from the Congo.
Wow. Wow. All right, Glynis, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, my pleasure.
That's the founder of the RMB Turbine Art Fair, Glynis Hyslop, and she was speaking to us about what has been happening at this year's event that kicked off on the 12th of July and will run until the 15th. That is tomorrow. All right, let's go for an ad break.